Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce Mr. Pawan, a visionary entrepreneur, innovation leader, and business strategist who has built an extraordinary career in technology, digital marketing, and business transformation. Mr. Pawan is the CEO of Elpro Digital, one of the top digital marketing agencies helping brands scale, dominate, and redefine success in the digital world. But that's just one chapter of his incredible journey. He is also the co founder of Spike.com, India's largest power bank rental network, a company that is revolutionizing the way people stay powered on the go. His ability to identify market gaps and create groundbreaking solutions sets him apart as a true disruptor in the tech space. Mr. Pawan is a founding member of the Wireless Power Consortium, a group shaping the future of wireless charging technology, and his contributions have earned him a US patent, a testament to his cutting edge innovations and expertise. In 2018, he was recognized as the Man of Innovation by Electronics Maker magazine, an award that highlights his unparalleled ability to push the boundaries of technology and entrepreneurship. Beyond his own ventures, Pawan actively advises startups and businesses, helping them navigate the complex world of innovation, strategy, and growth. His journey from an ambitious entrepreneur to a leader driving industry change is nothing short of inspiring. Today, he's here to share his expertise on idea generation and validation, helping you understand how you transform a simple idea into a game changing business. This is your chance to learn from someone who has not just built businesses but shaped entire industries. So get ready, stay engaged, and let's give a massive welcome to Pawan as he takes us on this exciting journey. And also do make sure to note down the questions because there will be a Q&A session at the end of this. Thank you. Now I welcome Pawan for his session. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello.
Pawan, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
All right, great. Thank you, Bhuvan. Thanks so much for that introduction. It was quite flowery. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. So I can't see anybody, so I don't know how many people are in the room. Is it possible to turn on the camera where the students are? I would love to see some excited faces. Is it possible? One,
Could you repeat that for me, please?
is it possible to turn on the camera where the students are?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Please do that. So I would love to see some expressions so I can interact with them. I would like this to
Yeah,
be very interactive, right?
yeah, sure.
Just give us a moment, please, Pawan.
Sure, sure.
and speak. Okay. Then you have to speak. If they ask.
Hey Pawan, we are facing a few technical difficulties. We'll turn on the camera in a while. Could you please start the meeting?
Screens. Okay. Can you hear me now? And can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Pawan, we can hear you. We can't see you though. We can see your screen.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll get started then. So how many people do we have in the room and what discipline are they from? So just give me some idea so I can add those things in as we speak.
Pawan, there are about 30 people in the conference room at AIC NITTE, and these are diploma students from mechanical, civil, apparel design, and fashion technology and computer science. Austin, if you would like to add, please do add. About 30 people in the room, Pawan.
All right, so let's get started. Everybody can hear me okay? All clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, because I can't see you guys, I need some confirmation that I'm not talking to thin air, all right? Because I want my conversations to be very interactive. That's the only way I have fun having these conversations. I would love talking to people, engaging with especially the youngsters and sharing whatever I have learned and the mistakes I have made. So I can share that knowledge. All right, so we're gonna talk about validating an idea. So let's get straight into it, right? All right, through your product development journey, which is kind of the course that you've signed up for, various things will be discussed with you, right? Right from the ideation, then the validation, then somebody else will come a few weeks later and talk about how to plan and execute it, right? And planning part of it, and then the development part of it, eventually launch, go to market, so on and so forth. So today we're going to focus on the second piece, which is the validation. Obviously, a little bit of ideation also I will touch, so you will get an idea of how to approach something and sort of move forward. All right, perfect. So before I get there, first question you would have is, why the hell should I validate the idea? Why in the world an idea needs validation? Multiple things, right? So if you have a great idea and your mom is the only one who thinks that is a great idea, then you have a big problem. Because the point of the idea is not that my mom and dad think it's great. Market should think it's a good idea and they should find value in it. So the first of all, validating an idea will confirm a demand for you. The second one is you can identify what the right product market fit is. And I'll get into examples of what I mean by all this as we discuss the framework in the follow-on slides. Right? It gets you to identify a pain point. You may be thinking, I'm going to do X for Y reason, but the real reason may be something else that you will identify when you validate the idea, right? And also, let's say you only have 1 lakh to do something, and suddenly you cannot have a plan to validate an idea that takes 10 lakhs, right? It has to be within the resources that you have, whether it is time, money, people, effort, whatever, right? And then eventually you're going to have other stakeholders come in and you want to talk to them. And the first question they're going to ask is, okay, great idea. Who wants it? Have you validated it? So you need to build that credibility with them by actually going through the validation. It helps you with that. And once you've done all this, obviously it helps you to reduce the time to market to take the really go to the next step and development and so on, and planning and development and launch and so on and so forth. So these are the reasons why any idea it may be needs some validation. All right. Now we'll get into the next phase, which is so when Rohit reached out to me and said we're going to have this chat about validation. One thing that came to my mind is I need to develop a framework that can easily be communicated, one easily understandable, and as students, you can take the framework and go and execute it on a small project or something. And I sat over the couple days and really thought, how do I do this? Okay. So I came up with something. Hopefully you'll find it interesting. I'm excited to share. Right. So before I get there, I want to understand if you can speak, how many of you understand the word jugaad? What does this mean to you? Anybody from the audience can speak, especially the students?
Maybe a non-standard way of achieving an outcome.
I would love to hear a student say something. Thanks, Rohit.
Making something from scratch.
I'm sorry?
Making something from trash.
Okay. Anybody else? I need one more.
Temporary solutions.
All right, perfect. So that's good. So at least you have some idea what this means, right? All right. Now, what does this dictionary say about it? I mean, you can Google it, you'll find it. It basically means a flexible approach to problem solving using limited resources in an innovative way, right? And if you Google it, you'll find that India is great at this. A lot of the Asian countries are amazing at figuring out solutions with really in an innovative way. I'll show you some examples. Here you go. This guy was worried about the seat he has on his bicycle, so he's come up with he found a junkyard and picked up a car seat and put it on this one, right? So he solved, hey, if he wants to build a bicycle seat with a backrest, he can quickly put something together and see if anybody likes it. Is it comfortable to drive, right? Look at this teacher. This is incredible. The COVID time drives a whole lot of innovation. This is before the age of tripod. Well, not really. She did not have the time to buy the tripod. She created her own tripod so she can teach the class. Incredible, right? Now this one, well, I mean, necessity is the mother of innovation. There you go. It's self-explanatory why you need support structure there for balance. Mechanical engineers in the audience. Well, you heard about Bullock carts. This is the Bullock car. The guy's found a piece of a car and now he's able to ride. Again, some level of innovation there. And finally, this one. Somebody needed a porta potty and they created one. Took a Syntex water tank and it's self-explanatory what this thing does. So the idea is, it's your mindset where you take the limited resources available to you and then go ahead and validate an idea that you have in your mind, right? So that's where I would love to introduce the Jugaad framework for validating any idea, right? So here's the Jugaad framework. This is the first time I'm discussing this, revealing this. This was just created thanks to this opportunity that Rohit and team have given me, and thanks you all. I'd love to get some feedback. So the Jugaad stands for J is justifying the idea. U is understanding your audience, who needs it, who wants it. P is gauging the market, which is G, gauge the market. How big is the market? 10 people need it, 100 people need it, 1,000 people need it. Next is assemble the MVP, find the minimum possible way you can build a very small prototype of a product so you can prove that somebody actually wants it. And the fifth A is assess the demand. How many people wanted it? How many people used it? And then finally, you take all this data and then use the data to drive future decisions as to where you go with this entire idea, right? So that's the Jugaad framework. And we're going to apply this framework to not only some existing startups that are doing very well and how this framework would have helped them and what actually they did, but also I will take a hypothetical startup and run you guys through this entire framework, all right? Let's get started. The first thing is justifying the idea. So what does that mean? It basically means if you have an idea, there's two things you need to answer. What specific problem are you solving? And why does this problem matter? Otherwise, if you can't answer these two questions, the idea has no meaning. I am Swiggy. I solve the problem of delivering food to people's houses because they don't have time to go out and pick up the have the food or go pick up the food. Simple, right? That I'm solving this specific problem, and this is why it matters, right? Now let's get into this hypothetical problem that I'm going to create right now, and we'll work through each of these steps in the Jugaad framework to to validate this idea that I am coming up with, right? All right. So to set the premise, you're all college students, right? My son is in college. Now he's got a roommate. His roommate is very good at math. And my son totally is very bad at math. My son is actually good at basketball. It has nothing to do with college studies, right? Now, because he's good at basketball, he goes, he plays sports, he knows a lot of people, he's sort of he's a tall guy, he's 6'4" and plays basketball. So he's sort of known and his confidence has grown, so on and so forth. So he's gotten into good fitness routine. His roommate knows maths, but he's very quiet. He's very silent. He just sits by himself. He doesn't have very many friends. So my son made a deal. He said, okay, you teach me math and I will teach you something around fitness, staying fit, and I'll run with you and so on and so forth, your sport, whatever, right? So that will build your confidence and you can go make friends and meet people. So that builds your skill. And I don't know math, so you teach me and I improve my math skills. So great, wonderful. So I came up with this idea called the skill something. Right? Imagine your college, there is a whole bunch of people who are having all kinds of skills. What if we build a marketplace which is peer-to-peer, where students exchange their skills and build their portfolio, skill set, capability, so on and so forth. So this is totally random, just made up last night, called Skill Sante. But I would use this example to go through this entire Jugaad framework, right? So what specific problem? Two questions we have to answer. What problem are we solving? Why does it matter, right? So what problem are we solving, right? Bangalore, anywhere, students need skills. One, they can't afford or they don't have time, so on and so forth, right? Okay, the other students have complementary skills. Now let's bring those people together so they can share those skills and build that experience, right? Why does it matter? Because they have the financial constraints, or they don't get the ability to build that extra talent. Somebody wants to learn music, somebody wants to learn coding, art, sport, finance. All these things, skills are picked up from college students. These are not skills that me and Rohit or somebody who's closer to 50 has. These are the skills that college students have. So Skillsante is a peer-to-peer marketplace where students exchange skills to learn from each other. Right? So that's the example I'm going to use. The first steps in Jugaad framework is justifying the idea. We have justified the idea as to why this is required. Now we go to the next one and see, let's understand the audience. All right? In understanding the audience, we need to get deeper down into, does audience really need it, or who is the actual audience, right? And how do we go about validation at this part of the validation with the right audience? Now, validation is about actual evidence. It's not so much about assumption. I assume these people need it. Just because my son and his roommate are exchanging some experiences or knowledge doesn't mean everybody wants it or needs it. All right. So how do we validate this part of it? How do we understand who really needs it? And how do I approach it? All right. Simple methods. Create a WhatsApp group. Everybody has WhatsApp. Everyone, Bangalore College has a WhatsApp. Create a WhatsApp group. Go to popular places where these people hang out. Maybe it's a chai shop, or visit different colleges during lunch hours, right? And create a survey. It's a very simple survey. At tech meetups, you can create as to, and as to gather data that will help you understand the audience, right? And the questions are very simple, right? What skills do you wish you could have access to but can't afford? I have a public speaking problem. I'm great at the coding, but I don't know how to speak in public, right? So somebody else who's really good at it may come up with a way to teach, and we can exchange this. And how do you find help with doing existing projects, right? And again, everybody has access to ChatGPT. Once you understand the framework, ChatGPT can give you specific questions relevant to your particular project. In this particular case, these are the 4 or 5 different questions that you can ask. What would you make to trust such a skill exchange system? For example, Skillsante in our case, right? I mean, for example, let's say there is Skillsante that exists. Somebody goes there. How do I know that this guy Pratik is good at basketball? Well, I mean, ideally, like anything else, you want a rating and ranking system in there that somebody has given a review that, hey, Pratik is really good at this. All right. So that adds additional validation for somebody who's willing to sign up for the platform. Those are the answers you will get through understanding the audience and what is important for them. First, is it valuable for them? Two, how would they use it? Three, what is important within that for them, right? That's the understanding framework. Next is gauging the market. So how big is the market, right? Students currently exchange skills, and how many students are there? How many of those students are even really motivated to exchange these skills? Where do these people hang out? Because that's where the market is. That's where you need to go market this product eventually for them to come on board. So simple analysis. How many colleges and universities in Bangalore? What's the background of technical, non-technical? Which are the neighborhoods where all these students hang out? Where are this population? And again, is there any seasonal patterns, right? Exam time, placement season. These are the times where people want to pick up these skills. Very popular skill these days is understanding AI, right? Everybody wants to write AI in their resumes, but come interview time, maybe a couple of months before that, you grab hold of somebody and they teach you, especially the student, teaches you some of the key aspects of AI as it pertains to your discipline, and therefore now you're able to gain that skill and then maybe practice a bit before you go on to your interviews, right? So that will help. This aspect of it is gauging the market. How big is it? How many people are interested? And where do these guys hang out? So how do I get to them, right? And then finally, you have to assemble an MVP. MVP stands for minimum viable product. What this basically means is you're going to build something which is bare minimum to get your questions answered, which you have set up in your previous phases, right? So basic solution could be, you don't need an app to go figure out, form these groups. The WhatsApp group is good enough. Google Form is enough to understand what skills people use. And you just weekly skill matching, you can manually do it. You can find this guy, you can find this guy, get them on a WhatsApp group, and they can talk to each other and set it up. And then you can just set up simple meetups in cafes and different locations where these guys can meet and these skill sharing sessions can happen, right? Again, another simpler alternative is you can partner with colleges, you can put notice boards. So the idea is, what is the fastest way to validate this particular idea without having to build complex apps or web pages and things like that, right? Something very simple that you can use right from your phone, right? That's the idea of assembling the MVP as part of this Jugaad framework. The next one is assess demand, right? This is where you understand, after you've run through the MVP phase and you've gotten people on board and they've used it, right? So you run the 50 before you building the platform, you run across 50 students out of college, and you track the exchanges, host a small thing where skills can be exchanged at a cafe or something, and also see how many people are telling other friends. So you want to collect these metrics so you know that, okay, these are the various indicators that tell me that this is a useful solution that I'm coming up together, right? It is not something out of my whims and fancies, but I've actually run it through a process where it's giving me the information. Finally, data-driven decision, the last D of Jugaad framework is data-driven decision. You take all the data, right? Identify what are the most exchanged skills, identify which are the hotspots where these skills are required, and also what are the trust factors where, like this rating factor, or it could be popularity factor or whatever, right? You will understand through this process what are those things that are critical for this project to move forward. And finally, decide if you want to move forward the way it is, you pivot, or you say, okay, let's drop it, right? And there are many companies out in the world, out in the market, that have started a whole lot of things and then eventually figure out, okay, it's not feasible, and then move on. And that's perfectly okay. That's how world works. Before they started Swiggy, the founders had some other B2B marketplace idea. They built it, it didn't work out, they moved on and pivoted to Swiggy, right? And again, they go through the entire validation process again. Well, the Jugaad framework didn't exist, but because it's been only 2 days old, but they followed the framework, and I'll show you an example of how other companies would have followed the framework to get to their validation as well, right? Now, through the power of Jugaad thinking, you've not only justified your idea, that means it's a genuine problem, right? You have understood which is the audience that requires this sort of a idea, and you gauge the market. Okay, there's so many people, so many students, this is the amount of business potential opportunity there is. You put together a minimum viable product with the least amount of resources, without spending significant on resources, either time, effort, or money. Now you assess the demand. Okay, I've gone through this, I've done the pilot, and this is where the demand is. And then you've taken all this data and made some decisions, right? So the Jugaad thinking and the framework has helped you come so far, right? Now, the key aspect here is not the framework itself. You can call it whatever you want. But the key aspect here is the mindset. How do you approach this? The thought is where the crux of this entire framework and the validation aspect lies is number one, it's resourcefulness over resources. It's not having 10 different ways of doing something. You find one simple way of achieving that. Like it's like WhatsApp groups, college festivals, cafe meetups, so on and so forth. The second one is the context matters, right? If I'm delivering food, for example, in case of Swiggy, they started in Kormangala because that's where the students are, that's where the restaurants are, that's where all the busy people are who don't have time to cook. So they pick that student culture. Similarly, the skill Sante has to find its place in where students reside, students hang out. It's in the colleges, right? I can't take this to a corporate place because they're at a different stage in their life, right? The third one is start small, learn fast, and fail fast as well, right? Take the pilot in a way that you can grab it with both your hands with the limited resources that you have, and you're able to execute. And then finally, community first. When I say community, again, Swiggy started in Kormangala area. It's a very small community. It's word spreads very fast, so you get referrals very fast. Similarly, you build something like a skill Sante in a college community, it's again the word spreads very fast. That's where you want with your typical any such services or products like these. You want to identify your community where you're able to do this. All right, now let's dive into some of the big examples out there in the world, right? Airbnb. If you're not heard about Airbnb, well, I'm sure you have. Very few people out there that have not heard about it. So before they became so big, they validated this idea by renting out an air mattress in their own house in San Francisco to conference. People are coming for a conference. They quickly realized that there's a great opportunity, right? So applying the Jugaad principles, they had resourcefulness. They're using their own apartment. An MVP, they didn't build something big. It's just a simple one-page website and an air mattress, right? They didn't invest in anything. And finally, they've tested if actually people want it. So then people rent it out, they validated that idea, then they moved on to the next steps, right? Now, Dropbox. Dropbox is a very popular solution out there, a cloud-based platform that gives you product storage, storage for your photos, or files, or whatever, right? Data syncing. Now, how did they validate? They created a simple video on what it does, distributed among the tech community and also people who they believed had the problem, right? And they had a whole high number of signups before they even created a product, right? So they just did an MVP, which is a video. They assessed demand by measuring how many people have signed up. And then finally, they understood that, hey, the tech audience are the ones who love something like this. So there it is, another huge company out there. Buffer. Buffer is basically a social media automation platform. Their main problem statement was, how do I post across Twitter and other social media channels? I want something to automate it, right? Then having to do manually. Again, they just created a simple landing page and they measured signups after they have distributed the communication across the tech community or the marketing community. And then in fact, in the back end, they have manually done the scheduling. There is no software, there's no AI, there's nothing. Some guy is sitting there doing this manually. So they have validated the demand using these aspects of the Jugaad principle. All right. Now that brings me to pretty much the end of my conversation. Now we'll move on to my challenge to you and then follow up with some questions that you may have, right? So my challenge to you as you leave today, identify a problem in your community, apply the Jugaad framework, and then come back and share with your peers or your lecturers, professors on if it's a success or a failure. This will give you a very good insight into applying the framework and also strike some very exciting conversations amongst you friends. All right. And finally, remember, in the spirit of Jugaad, failure is not a setback. It's simply data for your next iteration. That's it, folks. I'm open for questions. Would love to hear your feedback on the framework and any questions that you may have.
If you have any questions, you can ask.
ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದಂದ್ರೆ ಜುಗಾಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂತಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಸ್ವಿಗ್ಗಿ ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಫರ್ ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಅದು ಅವರು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯದಿಂದ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಬೇಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಗ್ರೋ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು? ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗಿತ್ತು ಸರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, especially in English, please. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Could you repeat it in Kannada? I'll translate it. I'll translate it to him in English. Thank you.
Okay. ಸರ್ ಅದು ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಿಗ್ಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಫರ್ ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಅದು ಗ್ರೋ ಅಪ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅದು ಕಂಪನಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು? ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ?
She is asking what type of ideas could be good ideas. How do we define these set of ideas? Ideas like Swiggy and other companies, like you mentioned. How do you define if whether it is a good idea or not?
Well, that's a good question, and thank you. Now, the idea can come from any conversation you have with anybody. If you have a problem and you are finding for a solution for that in your daily life, that's an idea in itself. The whole point, the difference between a good and a bad idea will be clear once you apply the validation framework, right? If you're able to answer all the questions in the framework, it will tell you at the end of it whether it is a good idea or a bad idea, right? Now, let's pick one example, right? Now, you want to start another food delivery app in Bangalore, right? So right off the bat, you can say whether it is a good idea or bad, right? Because you have so much competition. So how will you differentiate yourself, right? So if you apply this framework into it, it will come out of it. In the end, it will tell you if you have to do this, what would differentiate yourself from others? Maybe it's home cooked meals. Maybe it is better diet-friendly meals. It's maybe only for the diabetic people, right? Again, the idea is just the beginning point. As you go through the framework, you will be able to figure out what aspects of the idea, if the idea or what aspects of the idea make it meaningful and useful.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. No idea is good or bad. Just apply, go through these principles, and in the end, you'll find out whether it is or not, right? Because the data will speak for itself.
Then, sir, in the spirit of Jugaad, failures isn't setback. Means if we get failure, then also that means.
Yeah, failure means what, right? Failure means you have done something. You have done something and you've learned from it, right? It didn't work, and that's okay. That's how you learn in life, right? I mean, when you're learning a bicycle, if you got on the bicycle and you fell down and you said, because I fell down, I will never learn bicycle. Well, then it'll be tough, right? You are going to fall, you're going to get up, and you're going to learn to do better. You will next time understand, okay, why I'm falling, and avoid those mistakes, right?
Then if we start a startup company, that two phases will there, failure and success. We should make ready if we get failure also. We should make decision for that also, sir. When we
100%. 100%, right? How will you know whether you're failure or success? You need to have set your own rules, right? For example, I'm going to start something today. If I don't make X amount of revenue or X amount of users by then, that is your definition of not success, right? But you apply this framework, go through the process, and then say, okay, at the end of it, it doesn't look like this is a good idea, or this looks great, everybody loves it, so I'm going to go ahead and build it, right? So the whole idea is, before you realize it is a failure or a success, you use very limited resources. That gives you the opportunity to fail very fast and not lose a lot of time failing.
thank you, sir.
Any questions? You can go ahead and
Sir, how to patent the idea?
I'm sorry?
How to patent the idea?
Good question. All right. So there are two kinds of thought process in this world, right? Some people think you should never patent an idea. And some people think you should absolutely patent and protect an idea. And I'll tell you why, right? Especially if it is a technology related patent, right? So you always want to protect it. And if it is a utility, when I say a utility, for example, right, Netflix has to transmit, like take Geo, for example. Geo's cricket match has to go to millions and millions, crores and crores of phones. Obviously, they have technology that shrinks the file size and then transmits over the internet and it reaches the phone. There's a company that has a patent on shrinking the file size. Technology like that you want to patent because everybody in the world will need it, and you have the algorithm to shrink, because shrinking is important to send out. Now there is another guy who's got a basically you can put your clothes inside a ball and you put in the washing machine so the clothes don't get dirt, don't get broken or torn, right? Because a lot of these clothes have hooks and buttons. Now they don't want to patent that idea because the minute you patent, you have to tell the whole world how your product works. And there are companies sitting in China who are looking at all the filed patents, and they will copy your idea and they will go to market before you can even say the word product, right? So it depends what kind of product yours is, right? And whether it patenting gives you an advantage or doesn't give an advantage. Just getting a patent to get a patent has no meaning. It costs a lot of money, right? So every case is different. And how you would go about patenting is there are patenting attorneys. They will do a patent search. They will identify if there is any similar such product idea available, or how you could differentiate your product idea from that one, and then you can file a patent. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything, you ask me any question about success, failure, dealing with various aspects, people, teams, money, lack of money, any questions, feel free to ask.
Sir, is it always necessary to identify the problem and solve it?
That is a fundamental issue, right? If there is no problem to solve, then you have to create a problem, right? Only a problem can be solved, right? If there is no problem, you create one. And there are a whole lot of people who created that problem, right? Or you don't think it is a problem. And then once it is solved, you'll think, hey, it's a problem, right? I give you any habit changing aspect is a problem that is created. Like Dunzo. I mean, that is a problem that didn't exist. I mean, it did, but we never thought it's a problem, right? Dunzo out of business, but that's another issue, right? But now we are all used to getting this, at least my generation. People are, instead of wasting time on the traffic, you just happily pay somebody 100, 200, 300 bucks, and they will go and deliver it. If I have to send something to Rohit or something to Austin or your college, some document, I'll just give it to Uncle Delivery or Swiggy, whatever, Swiggy Genie or whoever, and they deliver it for 200 bucks instead of me driving 2 hours, 3 hours, right? Now that's a problem nobody knew existed. Nobody knew they had, right? And then they first gave you this $20 delivery, 20 rupee delivery. And then once you got used to 20 rupee delivery, now 200 rupee delivery doesn't bother you, right? Now, as you move forward in life, we of our generation, we've seen not having a problem to having a problem. Your generation doesn't understand not having a problem because that is how the world works. For us, this entire delivery didn't exist, right? For some of the younger kids, deliveries, Swiggy and Zomato is the only way to eat food, right? So it also changes from what you are exposed to in your lifetime, right? So if you no problem, create one.
Sir, while doing it, how can we test it before delivering it to?
Can you repeat the question?
how can, if we are doing, if we are making any product, then how can we can analyze before it going to market that is for people's problem or not?
Exactly, just follow the framework. What does it do and why is that important? Who needs it? Right? How many people need it? Right? Let's give me an example. I'll walk you through the framework. Pick an idea, give me an idea. I'll walk you through the framework. Right, okay, let's talk about this guy, right? Airbnb. You know about Airbnb? You know about Airbnb? All right, you know about Urban Clap?
It helps to book a room in other cities.
Right, fine, right? So, I mean, as you can read on my screen, right, when they get an idea that, hey, you know, I live in an apartment, I have an extra room, I want to, maybe somebody, I can rent this room out to somebody. It's an empty room, it's just sitting there. They thought it's a great idea. Now they have to test it. So what they did is they just made a simple website and went and then made sure the conference attendees in that city knew about it. And immediately it got sold. So that's how they validated. If I have an extra room, will somebody, random guy, will come and want to stay in that room just for one night? Many of these people attending the conference just want to sleep and get out and move away. They don't need a fancy place to stay, right? So that's how they validated their idea, right? So again, if you go through the framework, it will tell you that use what you have, that is resourcefulness, a simple minimum viable product. That means build something very simple that's just enough to test it out, which is in their case, they're just a simple mattress, and then assessing the demand, which is how many people needed it, did they really needed it, so on and so forth, right? So if you have an idea in your mind, let's talk about it, and I can tell you how you can run through validating if anybody needs it.
Okay, sir.
Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to connect and engage if you have questions.
Does anybody have more questions? Austin, can you confirm if there are any more questions from this audience?
Yes, ma'am. There is one student. Sir, I have a question. How can students test their ideas with minimum resources?
So I'll just proceed with the end of the webinar. So
Tanisha,
first
there is
of
a
all, I
question
want to
for
thank
Pawan.
you, Pawan, for such an
Tanisha?
insightful session on idea generation and validation. You have
Tanisha, there
highlighted
is a
the
question for
importance of
Pawan.
structured thinking when it comes to innovation, like Jugaad framework, which justify the idea, understand the audience, and market, gauge the market, assemble minimal viable market, assemble demand, and data-driven decision. The example.
Excuse me, ma'am, a student have question.
I think somebody is asking a question.
Yes, ma'am. A student has doubt. Ask question.
Austin, I heard somebody asking a question about how they can validate ideas with minimal resources. If they can please repeat it. Pawan can answer that.
Yeah, sure, I can answer that. You can hear me, right? Okay, cool. So yeah, so basically it depends what the idea is, right? If the idea can be handled through, you know, I've given some of the tools that you can use, right? There's a, you know, Google is free. I mean, you can use Google Forms to do a whole lot of surveys to validate if people actually need the idea. Who needs the idea? That information is available. right? Depending on what the idea is, it all depends, right? If you want to build, you just pick an example. If you want to build next for a skill Sante itself, let's say skill Sante, you have no resources. How do you validate it? Right? So, like I said, use WhatsApp group. Go talk to colleges, identify if people actually have this problem. Would there be any value if you created WhatsApp group with a whole bunch of students and then you yourself post saying, hey, I need to learn guitar from somebody, I'm willing to teach stock market fundamentals, right? Maybe somebody will come up and then there you go. Now you're exchanging skills, right? So use WhatsApp, use Google, and if you're on to the next stage, there's platforms like AWS and Azure who give away free credits for to build their solutions. You can build free websites on Wix, right? There's a whole bunch of free platforms out there to just get you off the ground, right? So there's enough resources in the market to be able to do that. But the key is to understand something like a Jugaad framework. So your mind is not thinking, oh, if I don't have subscription to this, subscription to that, a whole lot of things, I cannot do anything, right? That the mindset is what is important, right?
Thank you, sir. That's it, sir.
Thank you, Austin, for coordination. I'll just go ahead with the closing remarks. So, like I was talking, thank you. I was thanking Pawan for Jugaad framework. I think he has given us such insightful remarks today about Jugaad framework, and I think that's very important for students to understand the framework apart from the idea that they have. And the examples that you shared on Buffer and Airbnb, I think really helped the students and us to understand how great ideas just don't happen. They are built through research, iteration, and feedback. So, for all of you here today, this session is not just about theory, it's about how you can apply these insights to your own ideas. That's how you will grow, that's how you will become an entrepreneur. Whether you're looking to start your own venture or bring your innovation into existing business, the ability to generate and validate ideas, that is a skill that sets you apart. Pawan Insights today gave us a roadmap on how to move on from just having an idea to making it viable and scalable. I hope you all agree with me on this thing. And also, this is just the beginning for all of you, for all of the students. We are bringing an opportunity to put these insights into action. We are thrilled to announce our upcoming idea contest, where we will get the chance to take this learning that Pawan shared with us forward by diving into idea contest, which validates your idea. It's your turn to shine now. So the idea contest is starting from tomorrow, 4th April, and it will end till 8th April. So the idea contest will run for 5 days, where you have to think about an idea, where you have to pitch a solution to a real world problem like an entrepreneur, and you have to share those idea by end of 8th April, like through a video. And when I say video, I mean you can just open the front camera, you can just make a video, you can just pitch the idea through the Jugaad framework that Pawan expressed today, and just drop it on our system campus group, or drop it on WhatsApp. We just care about your idea. Video is preferable, but even we can accept the PPT. So just go ahead, share your ideas with us, and you'll also have the opportunity to work on your own ideas and start shaping them into something real. So start brainstorming, do some research, and come prepared to engage. Once again, a big thank you to Pawan for sharing his expertise. And thank you to all of your participation. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to Talisma team on WhatsApp or connect with us on campus group. See you at the contest. And also
Thank you so
don't
much,
forget
everyone.
go on, Rohit.
Sure.
I just want to add
Thank
one
you.
more thing. So for the idea contest, the top 3 selected winners will get exciting prizes with certificates, and most importantly, they'll get recognition on Talisma company handle, where you can get exposure to industries worldwide. So I think this is very important for the current students who are in the colleges to get exposure from the industry. So yeah, go ahead, Rohit. Hand it over
Thank
to you.
you. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you so much, Pawan, firstly for taking time. We know it's tough to find time in your schedule. We really appreciate you coming and talking to us. Austin and the team at Nette, thank you for organizing this. And to all the students, your questions were amazing. Thank you for engaging. I think we're very excited for the next session and seeing what ideas you come up with. The prizes are exciting that Tanisha talked about. So you definitely want to put in a submission. And we'll use those ideas and develop them further so that you can see the process of how it happens. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks everyone for having me. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day, Austin. You can give the attendance sheet to us. You can just click the photo and send it to Bhuvan. We would definitely like to, since the camera was not working and it was some technical issue, we would like to see all of the students. We would like to see who all participated, who all were interested. And I hope that it was a good session from Pawan. I hope you guys all get very good insight from Pawan. And I think it's time to put those insights into action. So go ahead, guys. Register for the event. The idea contest session event is open on our system. You can go ahead and log in through your dashboard and sign up for the system, and you will see all the details there, whatever is there for idea contest. And I wish you all the best for the contest. I hope you all give your best to the contest and really compete with your colleagues. We really compete with your peers to get top 3 winners.
Sure, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you, guys. Thank you, students. We'll be in touch.
Thank
Don't
you.
hesitate to connect WhatsApp. Don't hesitate to ping us on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.